Hello and welcome back to Hollowponds solo Sagas, and I've just realised that wearing a black t-shirt in front of this background may not have been the most sensible idea. So we're trying sampling this week. We'll use the black background because that's how we move forward. I might need to get something better because I don't know how well that looks. But anyway, welcome back. We are going to be playing Star Trek Adventures Captain's Log, the solo Star Trek game built for the solo player with a massive rulebook. Very narrative based, so I wouldn't even say very, it's incredibly narrative based. Lots of you seem to have replaced out the rules with other rule systems, so I'm not going to do that for this run. We'll keep using Captain's Log as per written, raw, rules as written, and we'll see how it runs, but we might do a future Star Trek game using some other rule system, and there'll be more chance of failure. So what was our story so far? So we could do the ship's log. Like we could do the supplementary log for Act 2 as an update. So what would Methane? So it would be, what is it? What's the year? It is 5007.2. 5007.2, edge of the Alpha Quadrant. We are about to board an ancient ship that has been discovered. There are multiple Federation groups in presence, some non-Federation, such as the Klingons, and we're all attempting to board to find out what happened to the ship and how their engines function. We have just heard the Endorians, who are present, have gone quiet. Their ships have gone silent and we don't know why. The last messaging that came from them was very erratic and quite disturbing. Hopefully we can get this resolved as quickly as possible. We are about to board. I was a bit rushed because airplanes started going over. We were discussing yesterday, sorry to segue, we were discussing yesterday or this morning, because we're moving to Belgium, where to live in Belgium, and that we've been like trying to find out about areas, and some areas are noisy. And I was trying to say, like, we've got airplanes going over every 5 seconds. There's a main road out there with buses that go past. Really, what is noisy in comparison? But anyway, aeroplanes, yes. So the Endorians, who are the 3 armed ones with arm out the front, apparently they are also in, I haven't seen the original series, animated series. I have access to it, but I haven't actually watched it yet. Apparently it's very underrated. Attempted to break through the hull of this ancient hulk, this humongous ship with strange engines, and then started to act erratically, and something's going wrong. Now, all of this stems from the fact that our original mission parameter that we rolled using Captain's Log had crew members going insane, and the word debate and the word quarantine zone. So there's a whole debate going on some of the capital ships that are orbiting around this huge space hulk. There's all sorts. There's the Vulcans, the Romulans, the Klingons, like multitude of smaller race presence as well, species rather, presence as well, to all bid for the fact that they think they should have this ship. And a small team of mixed origins, science and engineering specialists are about to board, which includes Science Officer Relic and Captain Methane of the USS Rumta. So they were just getting their suits on, getting ready to go across. Also the Rumta is starting to have engineering issues at the moment, as are other ships. They're having engineering issues. So that might be something to do with a sort of a wave effect coming off this ship. So we don't know why the ship's gone quiet. We don't know what's going on. We are boarding a shuttle, and thank you very much to Sean for confirming my my beliefs on the shuttle. That the reason why they didn't have a shuttle in the original series is that basically teleporting is cheaper. You just need to do some special effects and you teleport. You don't need a massive model of a ship, which I can't remember what Sean said. I think he said that a toy company offered to build one for them if it had the rights to sell it. But anyway, so they're boarding a shuttle and about to go aboard. We would have, so what would we do? If this was the Star Trek series, we would actually have probably Methane or Science Officer Relic would pilot, wouldn't they? So first off, we're going to have Methane. He's going to do a bit of a negotiations to be the pilot, because definitely there might be some friction between him and, let's say, the Klingons, or even the Vulcans. Definitely well, anyway, although that key 4, what's it, the gang of 8, the gang of 4, would definitely be, everyone else would be sort of on the periphery to that gang of 4. In my mind, correct me if I'm wrong, who are arguing in their different methodologies to who should be leading this mission, because even though they are scientific and engineering specialists, they still would have wanting to bring back the information themselves to their own organisations to get the kudos, I would expect. Actually, I'm going to do this here because it just jumped into my head. If you are a subscriber, thank you so much for being a subscriber. Any of you people who have been commenting on this series, thank you so much for commenting on the series as well. I very much appreciate it. If you're watching this and you haven't yet subscribed, please do consider subscribing. It does help the algorithm push it out to other people. Basically, very quickly, what it does is when you come online, it looks at what you have subscribed to, and then it looks at what other people have subscribed to, and what other people have subscribed to. If you haven't, some of those, but they have, and there's a match, they will take some of those and show it to you. So if you subscribe to this and you like this, when another person logs on, the algorithm looks at what they like, compares it to everybody else, and they might say, oh, some of these people have been subscribed to Hollowponds Sagas. Let's show this new person Hollowponds Sagas, and they might enjoy it. Now, in the long and the short, that probably doesn't really matter, but it does to me, because I quite like the idea of that. Anyway, if you would like to support by subscribing, that is awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you so much to the Adventurers Guild, whose names will run along there. We've had a few new members just recently on my time, which is 3 weeks ago. Thank you so much for your support in producing these videos, and as to pay credence to that, I will shut up and keep going. So so we've got Relic and we've got Matane. River Matane is going to, who's the captain, who's going to basically try and argue the fact that Matane should be piloting. Now we had one threat because we rolled a 20 last session, and that was the engines are starting to fail. So we might have that the engines of this shuttle would start failing as well, which might trap them there. But we'll do that based on the roll. So which shows you can actually fail, but it's just really rare. Matane is going to attempt to argue that they should be piloting. He is going to use his presence of 10 and command of 3, 13. And he's going to attempt to, but he does have negotiations. So if he rolls under 10, he would then get an advantage. We get a 17 and a 15, which is just a plain failure. So Matane starts to argue the fact that they should be piloting. So this is our first scene, which is a fail. Matane is going to argue the fact that they should be piloting. Relic is going to join in and try arguing the fact. Now Relic needs to get a double success for this. Relic is got, we would put that under, let's say, engines of an 8 and command of a 1. That's 9s. A natural 20 and a 2. So that's a threat gets bobbled up and a failure. So this is a definite failure and we get a threat. I think our threat is going to be, because it will go on in line with, if we go on board and people start to go a bit mental. This scene is a failed scene. We don't pilot, so I'm going to say the Klingons are going to muscle in. The Klingon is going to muscle in, and the Klingon will be our threat that we're really, we've annoyed. Let's do yes, no. Have we annoyed the Klingons and the Romulans? Or is it just the Klingons? So have we annoyed the Klingons and the Romulans? I think it's 50-50. So 1 to 10, yes, we've annoyed them both. 8, yes, we've annoyed them both. So either the Klingons, or sorry about that loud bang, either the Klingons or the Romulans are a threat. Not that they weren't anyway, but their engineering people are annoyed with Matane trying to step in and take over, because they assumed that they would be in charge. Both the Romulan scientific lead and the Klingon. The Klingons have scientific, they must have engineering and scientific lead. Well, they've definitely got engineers who work the ship. So maybe it's a ship. So the Klingon is an engineer, a ship's engineer, who has come on board. The Romulan, we don't know. They're very, very secretive. We don't know their names because, we'll look them up later. We'll come up with names of them later. So they are our threat. has been generated, which is there is animosity between them and us, and it's going to make things difficult when we get on board. But they are going to pilot, so we are going to give them a do they have difficulty. So we'll have that is that scene, which is getting on board and about to leave the ship where we are, the giant ship of the line that we're on, that we will then disembark from there, and they are going to begin piloting across, and we're sitting in the back sort of looking over the shoulders. Relik is looking and like being really disappointed that Matane even tried to step in and do that. So the next scene would be coming up to it. Now, are the engines going to fail? And then Matane and Relik can attempt to step in, and we might have a bit of a tussle happening on board the ship, which might be the beginnings of the influence coming off. It might not be a direct influence, it might be more sort of an energy messing up the way people's brains are working. So that would be, if it is that, then we could come up with a way of defeating it, because it is just sort of, you know, sending, almost like, we could do something, you know, like how noise cancelling headphones work. They basically send an anti-wave to cancel the sound wave, so you have the two waves that cancel each other. It could be a solution like that we come up with. So, do the engines start to cause problems? We can say it is somewhat probable or probable, somewhat probable. So 1 to 12, and the engines start to cause problems. 2, very much so. That would be all the way down to highly improbable. The engines start to fail. So in scene 7, the engines start to fail. So the engines start to fail on the shuttle in scene 7 as we're approaching this giant Titan. Maybe we can see, is there a name on the side of this ship? That is, say, 50-50. 1 to 10 is a yes. No. So we can see no markings on the side of this giant ship as we're coming close to it. So you can imagine the shuttle is approaching this giant ship. You know, there's a light shining across the hull as we're looking for a way in. And as that's happening, there's the lights within. We see external view, the shuttle, light moving over the hull of this gigantic hulk of a ship. And then the light starts to flicker. We cut back on board, and on board the lights are going. And then we'll have the 50-50, do the life support start to cause problems? 8, yes. And then the internal engines, so the internal engine, so this was a warp thing, but that might just affect, well, brains that work on electricity, maybe it affects electricity, the transfer of electricity, and as such, what's going on the shuttle starts to falter, so the shuttle starts to fail, and everyone starts looking at each other. So Matane, those two at the front, Matane is going to go, there's always a sort of, is there a sciencey thing, or am I thinking Battlestar? A panel's on the side, or he flips opens a panel, or Matane is going to start having a look and see if he can work stuff up. Emergency repairs. Matane has a focus on emergency repairs. So we'll have a bit of Matane saying to Officer Relik, let's have a look at what's going on. And going over, we've got values. Oh, we might be able to use up some of these value things. I'm not 100% sure how values work still. After what episode is this? 7. After 7 episodes, I still am not really sure how values work as an individual within Captain's Log. If someone wants to write down a bit of prose, not a wall of text, but a bit of prose, how do values work? What are these just a story bit? If it's just story, fine. I dig that. But is there any? I don't think there's a mechanical benefit to them. I think it's just story. Like we can get a story advantage with the focuses, but I don't think there's an advantage apart from story, because we do have proud to be a colony Martian. It's not always best to follow process. Don't stop getting your hands dirty, and don't forget you can talk it through. But I think you're meant to challenge the value, and then you cancel the value. So you want to do something that's anti that value. So basically, don't stop getting your hands dirty would mean that Matane is going to defer to someone else. So he won't do it, he'll let someone else do it. Don't forget you can talk it through would be, don't forget you can talk it through would be something like, that's a really difficult one. I think, or that value would be, it's better, you know, action is better than words. And then the counter to that is he has to negotiate the whole thing. All right, so enough of that. Anyway, if you can tell me, I'll really appreciate it, because I still haven't, after 7 episodes, got it going. Focus is fine, I dig that. So emergency repairs, he's going to attempt to move over. He flips one of the panels on the ground. Everyone's kind of looking over his shoulder as he digs in. He has, we could do reason and engineering, which is a 16 total. His engineering is a 5, his reason is 11. That seems to work. Yeah, that works. So he's going to dig in and see if he can work out what's going on with the engines. We get a 15 and a 19. Well, the 15 is actually a success because his reason is 11, engineering is 5. That's a 16. So that is a success, but that is not. So he succeeds in working out what's going on. So we will say it's not under emergency repair, so we don't get an advantage. So what he's going is, so nothing looks like it's wrong. Nothing seems to be wrong, but the engine seems to be keep getting forced out of fluctuation, out of cycle. Something is forcing the engines out of cycle, and meaning that they can't work efficiently and they keep dropping in power. So they're not broken, they're not stopped working, but they're not working continuously. It's like they're not generating continually. We're getting power drops. Something is interfering with the power generation. So that's what he can tell with that one success, but he can't fix it. He doesn't know how to fix it. So we will have, we've got the ship, which is basically is going to be Officer Relic, Science Officer Relic is there. They will step up, get out the old tricorder, and they are going to attempt to do, so what we've got engines of an 8, but that's more piloting, I think. I don't think that's engineering. Engineering of a 4, science of a 3. I think Relic is going to use science with a 3. Sensors, doing a scan, which is a 7, or knowledge of engines, which is an 8. So that would give an 11 if it's knowledge of engines. Talents, improved warp engines, dedicated space safe. That's all about communication. Advanced sensor suite. So we've basically got a 7 and a 3, which is an 11. So Relic is going to try, and if Relic gets a single success, we will say that Relic confirms what Rumta has said but can't add it, and we will need to turn to, at that point, the Romulan and the Klingon will step forwards and basically push us out the way and try and get stuff going. And if we get any fails, we are going to say, if we get a double success, i.e. a momentum, Relic can say they know what the problem is. A success, they confirm what Matane is saying. A fail, and something's going to kick off with the Romulans or the Klingons. We get a 3 and a 12. A 3 and a 12 is just a success, which is the 3. The 12 is above the 11. So it's just a success. So Relic is saying, okay, I'm not too sure what's going on, Captain. There's definitely something going on with these engines, and I don't know what it is. So that gives us a second. Technically, we have failed scene 7 as well, which makes scene 8 is going to be dealing with, so this is just on the ship. We've not even got onto the ship yet. Scene 8 is basically, because we've got 2 fails so far. So there we go. All that at the front, you hardly ever fail. And technically, well, I mean, it's a pass, but it's not a success, is it? So technically, I'm going to call both of those scenes. So this middle part is full of the Federation failing so far. And there's something is going on, causing them to fail. Matane would be getting Matane might be starting to get frustrated. Don't stop getting your hands dirty. And this is where Matane wants to. Here we go. Now we'll try challenging some values. Matane is going to want to keep working on this engine because Matane wants to know what's going on. Matane doesn't like not knowing what's going on and not understanding something. So Matane is going to want to take this apart. This is where the Romulan and the Klingon are going to step forward and basically tell Matane to get out of the way so they can have a look, and Matane may not want to get out of the way. So we are going to have, so Matane has got a career event, which is he knows about artifact ships, and he's also saved a ship in the neutral zone, so he may not be that friendly towards the Romulans. He's got loads of good stuff on scanner operations, and he knows about plasma power systems, so that might help him with this one, electric plasma power systems. So he is going to attempt to, as the Romulans and the Klingons are going to push in the way, he is going to attempt to basically to brute force presence himself being there, which would be fitness. So this is scene 8 is going to be a confrontation. So we had 6 was piloting, 7 was trying to solve the problem ourselves, 8 is going to be a confrontation between the Romulans, the Klingons, and Methane with Officer Relic. They are going to back Methane up if it goes messy, with a physical presence, which will call it security because it's being physical, and fitness, which is also physical. So Methane's fitness is actually quite high at a 10, and his security is a 2, which is a 12. So Methane is going to attempt to do that. Now Methane has nothing physical in his focuses. Relic is a Vulcan. They are a Vulcan, and I don't know whether they would. We've got weapons of 8 and security of 3 for the ship, which is an 11. So if Relic has to get in, we've got that. So we are going for his fitness of 10 and security of 2, which is a 12. As the two, the Romulan and the Klingon try and push Methane out physically into sea to go and find out what's going on, and a few of the others. So there's half a dozen of them in the ship. Most of them, they're all different races from different species. They all look a bit different. The ones that we know, or I know, the Vulcans, the Romulans, and because of course the Romulans and the Vulcans look exactly the same. There's some historical background, isn't there? Some sect parting of the ways. And so they are trying to push in. We have a success with momentum for Methane. So the Klingon is really the one getting really quiet. So we'll have this as a success for this bit. Methane will, as they step forward, he is going to stand, block the way, and say, and he is going to basically go chest to chest with the Klingon. We'll then have somebody will try, maybe the Vulcan will come and intercept and say, look, this is not making any sense. We are in a situation, so that's it. So Methane stands up and confronts the Klingon chest to chest in a, well, I ain't moving. I'm not moving, because this is him confronting his don't stop getting your hands dirty. He does not want to give in this job and stop trying to solve this problem. So he is going to face up against the Klingon, and they're going to get a bit heated between the two of them, which will mean that we'll give the Vulcan a chance. So let's give Relic a chance to step them out. So Relic is going to do, let's see, we've got weapon, no. Relic is going to try and talk it out. We've got comms, which is a 6, and command, which is 1. So Relic has a 7 in attempts to defuse this. Otherwise, we will have Methane and the Klingon are going to knock each other about a bit, and then the Vulcan will step in after the first person is sort of drawn blood. So Relic is going to attempt to dissolve the situation as they're facing off against each other, and the rest of them are all looking a bit on. So we've got a 2 and a 5. That's cool. That's cool. That is actually, that's a momentum. That's a success. So we've got a momentum which we're going to do. We're going to burn that now. So in this scene, which is still scene 8, we've got. Then we'll go to scene 9, which is them attempting. Okay. This act is going to be them getting on board the ship and then trying to work out what goes on. So the final act of them trying to work out what's going on. But this middle part is all on the shuttle. Is them getting on each other's tits and almost breaking the fight. So the mid part of this act, so scene 8, is a success for us. We have the Methane faced off against the Klingon. The Klingon went to reach for the little knife. It wouldn't have a big one, little knife. As Relik steps in, lays hands on the Klingon's arm. Oh, no, Relik, we had that as being a command, didn't we? That was comms and command, which is 7. So Relik can't resort to physical violence. This is just command. He's going to put hand on and say, do we really think our senior command is going to want to hear that the people on board... This is also them starting to go mad as well, isn't it? Is that people on board here are trying to do something, trying to fight each other rather than resolve this problem, and drawing blood against each other. Do we really want to declare war in a shuttle on the outskirts of an ancient artifact? And that's where the Klingon will back down based on that. Maybe Relik and the other Vulcan present are starting to detect that there's something, you know, they're feeling a bit heated emotionally, they're feeling a bit short emotionally, and that might be something a bit weird going on. And maybe so we'll call that. So the next scene, we still need to get this shuttle functioning to be able to get on board. Maybe we'll then have, you know, break for adverts, and coming back, Relik is talking to Methane off to the side in the shuttle and saying that they have been speaking to the other Vulcan present, and that their emotions are starting to feel a bit frayed, and that something is going on and they're not too sure what it is, but we need to resolve what's happening with the shuttle and fix the shuttle and fix the problem. So we could now have Methane confronting his value of don't stop getting your hands dirty, because maybe Methane needs to back away and let the collective fix what's going on here. So Methane is going to try one more time to fix what's going on here, which is now going to be, this is now scene 9 of Act 2. We are going to say that Methane needs a double success to be able to get this to work, because Methane hasn't been doing very well. We've got a reason of 11 and an engineering, so it's still a 16, potential of a 16, but it needs to get double. Otherwise, Methane is going to have to step down, which is confronting the value, don't stop getting your hands dirty. We get a 5 and a 13, which is a success with momentum. So Methane steps in and we'll have a success for that one. And Methane is going to work out that we need to shield the engine core, shield the core from an external energy, because that works with the story, which is negating the energy production. So we are going to have to set up some electronic shielding or wave shielding, maybe a negative wave. They like doing stuff with negative waves, don't they? So the team is going, so everyone's going to get together. We've still got animosity going on between the Klingon and Methane, so they're staying away from each other. We still have that being visible, and then we'll have a bit of time as they are working out how to produce some devices. And then the next thing we've got is these little things are sitting around the engine doing this pulsing, vibrating light. And then the engines come up and the flickering lights, or the red light that had been present, switches back to normal light, and the engines obviously start making noise, and the light external view comes back on. And we get to see the shuttle progressing towards the Space Hulk again. And they now have some additional information, which is that whatever is coming off of the Hulk is causing those engines to have problems. So this is where are the Romulans going to let them, send a secret message? 16 is a no. So the Romulans do not send a secret message. So we could take it by that does somebody else send a more open message? 19 is also no. Nobody thinks about sending it back to these ships, which are starting to have problems with their warp cores. So 10, last scene of Act 2, which we will call Boarding the Titan. So, Matane is going to, who fixed the ship, they will allow him, he is then going to step forward to take over piloting. I mean, if he fails this, then it's stop getting hands dirty. He hands over, he hands back. He has a, so what would this be? Let's call it daring. And we will call it con. That only gives him a 10, which is a failure. So we've got a 19 and a 14, which is a failure. And we're going to say that he decides, so that's a failed, but we're going to consume the value. Don't stop getting your hands dirty. That this is going to start to realise that he can't always be in control. He will step back and he is going to take over the locking of the seals and the actual breaking through operation. And the two who were piloting go back to piloting. So we will have a final scene of him going to step forward towards control, and the Klingon sort of like dipping into the seat before him. And as he's about to confront him to say, no, I want to pilot it, Rielik is going to lay their hand on his shoulder, and he's going to go fair enough, which is then the don't stop getting your hands dirty. He's going to have to give up actually being in control of the stuff and getting his hands dirty doing the work, piloting to somebody else, and he will then move his way to the back and attempt to go through. Now we could roll reason and engineering for Matane to break the way through and into. We've already failed this scene. We will anyway. His reason is 11, his engineering is 5. We get a single success because that's a 19, that's a failure. We're rolling failures this time. We didn't do at all nearly for the last 6 episodes. So Matane is able to get the airlock to lock just about by jury rigging it. And there's multiple of the other engineers, because it's not a total success and Matane doesn't inside. Multiple of the other engineers joining, and we have a scene of them connecting everything up, connecting a small tube against the hull, cutting their way through the hull of the ship. There's strange dust and light as we then end this episode, so this act, with them stepping through from the shuttle onto this Titan. There's lots of dust, and we'll end the scene maybe with a body floating by with, I'll write this down so I don't forget, a body floats by scene with a knife sticking out of its chest. No, out of its back. So we see the front of it as it floats towards, looking all desiccated, and then it twists in the 0G, and we see there's a massive blade sticking out of its back. And that will be it. That will be it for our Act 2 of Dead in the Water from Delta. And this episode we would call Boarding the Titan, as we've ended by Boarding the Titan. Overall, we failed this act, as we got 3 failed scenes and 2 successful scenes. But that is equaled out by the first act. But Matane is not doing too well so far. Hopefully that worked for you. I don't think it was that long since I said, if you are a subscriber, thank you for being a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. But I've just said it again. And we'll just say thank you to the Adventurers Guild. Hopefully you enjoyed that. If you would like to let me know how you're playing, do put it in the comments. A few of you already have. And we will see how we end this story next week. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you later. Bye.